Thanks for watching News Echoes World Affairs. We give you global news and we put in some analysis so that you might have an informed opinion. My name is Shegun Johnson. Our last episode in 2022, so is with a great heart that I welcome you to this special program. And we are having a near full house. And we have all the news that are making it around the globe. Let me start by introducing the lady in our midst, Bidi Nana from Lagos, Nigeria, where God resides. You're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Shegu. Thanks for welcoming me. Good day, all our
And
viewers. Good to have you here today.
yeah, and in faraway Toronto, Canada, we have a man, Sir George. You are welcome to the program, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Johnson, but not my Biddy's world. Good morning around the world. Viewers, we welcome you.
We have an ambassador with us. We're going to discuss issues about ambassadors this morning. Ambassador Nat, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much.
Of course, the renowned proprietor of Open University in Africa, Dr. Sita Anyemeka, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Good morning, viewers.
The last but not the least, we have in Milan. He's a massive man in stature and in money. Mark in Milan, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Shaggy. Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year in advance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the news that all of us have not wanted to hear, we were told a few days ago that Edson Arantes do Nascimento, otherwise known as Pele, gathered his family together and bid them farewell. And indeed, his daughter later announced that Pele died yesterday. Pele was the one that should have been given the GOAT, greatest of all times, and everybody knew Pele for football and of course Brazil for football, and he had taken the 3 World Cups together at one time, kissed the World Cup 3 times. 1958 we are told, 1962 and 1970. Pele is no more. How do we handle this one? George, how did you get it in Canada?
Yeah, he was an icon, actually, and I grew up loving soccer because of Pele. I was a goalkeeper because of Pele.
Oh, I never knew that.
I was a fullback because of Pele of Brazil. So the guy was he was football itself, soccer around the world. So it's such a painful exit for everyone that loved the greatest game ever played in the whole world, soccer.
Yeah. Dr. Sita, we'll be missing Pele. What do you say?
This might make you laugh, but I actually don't care. You know, I didn't know that Brazil was a third world country because of Pele. I didn't know the third world country. Yeah, laugh anyhow you like. But as a child,
yes, I will.
I saw him in heaven. The man thrilled me as a child. I never believed he was from the Brazil. To me, was like one big country because of that man. So when we started, hearing names, most of my friends were Pele at all levels.
Wow,
they just called themselves Pele. Yeah,
someone in Ghana is called Abedi Pele too.
Exactly. We everybody knew him as one Superman that nothing could happen to. But I'm happy that he lived up to 80 plus.
Yeah, 82,
that was amazing because he was very active, and at some point, he took ill, and then God has actually accepted his soul because he was a good man.
Yeah, he was.
Thank you.
Ambassador Nat, Pele became an ambassador for football. At a point, he was even Minister of Sports for his country. What do you say?
Well, I think Pele was more than that. See, unlike some other legends in other disciplines or fields, Pele loved football and he had the skills to display. But behind the scene, he influenced world politics, and most people don't know that. So I'm told, or it's on the record, that in 1967 he helped the Nigerian Biafra War, and there was peace for 4 hours because Santos, his club, was playing in Nigeria, and both sides, Biafra and Nigeria, agreed because Pele was in Nigeria and football was on. There was peace, no fighting, no firing of any. What are those? Osita.
Yeah,
The
Ogbunigwe.
Biafra, none of it, none of it was fired for 4 hours. So that is the Pele and the influence he had on
Well,
world.
thank you very much for that part of history. I would never have known that. Let me
Okay.
ask a Bidi. Bidi, Pele played like the music of the Brazilian people when they are doing their carnival. And so, what do you say? Pele football,
Samba.
samba. When you put samba to how Pele will dribble and score, is like this is music. I mean, I love Brazilian football. So how do you see Samba and the Pele? You got to unmute yourself. Studio, can you unmute her?
I think it's from her end. It's not from the studio.
No, we cannot hear you.
We cannot hear you. It's okay.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Mark,
Yes.
Samba and Pele, what do you say?
Samba and Pele, yes, great combination. The samba music became a global dance culture and music because of Pele. Yes, Pele was everything, Dr. Shogun. Pele was regarded as the greatest footballer ever. He played ball to the extent that, like Dr. Sita and everybody have said, a lot of people want to name themselves with his name. He appeared on 3 World Cup, like you said, 1958, 1962, and 1970. Brazil was able to take those World Cup. Pele was an icon, a phenomenal one for that matter. And his death will leave us all crying for some time. But I think, like Dr. Sita also said, it's a good one. He lived pretty well. He achieved a lot and used football also in the political terrain. Thank you, sir.
Let me say my own, and I'm going to ask anyone. It's a free one. I'm not going to mention any name if you know anything about Pele. But what I know about Pele was he was a disciplined man. Someone went to him and said, Pele, how come your talent is so great? Pele replied, I have 10% talent, but 90% practice. And so that made me thinking that whatever talent you have to practice on it. And one time he was asked to play penalty to a goalless, a goal without the goalie. And he played it and he missed because he wanted a particular angle, not just to put the ball in, but to play into a particular angle. And Pele said, somebody moved the post and said, I have practiced this thing so many times that I knew the angle I would put it, and somebody has moved that post. And when it was searched, somebody actually moved the post to see whether he would get it or not. That was the legendary of Pele. Now, let me leave it open. Who else wants to say something about Pele before we move?
No, that what you just said now, I remember that too, and that's correct, Dr. Shogun. And when they did the research, somebody actually moved the goalpost.
Move the post. Maybe that's where the English have it. You can't move the post. You can't move the post when you're matching. So.
I want to add that Pele lived some newspapers are reporting 81 years, some are saying 82. I think I want to go with 82. out of the 2 years he lived on Mother Earth, 22 years of his life was for playing football, and the other years for humanity.
That's a food for thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a very good food for thought. Well, let's move on from Brazilian death to a Nigerian death. A great man, highly respected, wide read, and he's gone. I'm talking of Professor George Obiozor, one time the Director General for Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, one time ambassador to 3 countries on behalf of Nigeria. Before his death, he was the President General of Ohanaeze. George Obiozor was a man who lived life to the fullest. He traveled around the whole world. He represented Nigeria. One of the accolades of George Obiozor was that every post he occupied, he never stole a penny. That resonated in every place, NIA, as ambassador, and that's one thing that followed him. And now Nigeria has lost one of his greatest. Who wants to go first on this man?
I just wanted to. There are so many newspapers reporting that he's not actually dead. In several places, I was reading some are saying that he's dead, that is affirmed. Others are saying that George Obiozor is still alive. So I'm not quite sure what the controversy is all about. If he's dead, why would they be reporting that he's still alive? Is there something that I don't know that anybody else knows? But anyway, he's a very, I think that he did very well. He reminds me of the former High Commissioner here. What's his name again? He was a federal transportation minister at a point. What's his name again? He died a few years ago.
In what country?
In Canada. He was a federal transportation minister for a few years, and then they brought him here to Canada to be the High Commissioner here, the ambassador to this country. Oh my God, how can this name just?
Well, I don't know all the commissioners that Nigeria sent to Canada, so I couldn't have helped.
Yeah. Anyway, so like you guys said, he's a disciplined man, and I never had any type of bad news about him. So his death, anyway, he lived a very good life.
Thank you for telling us this, whether he's dead or not. My little understanding or observation of senior Igbo men like that is that their death is always controversial. Nnamdi Azikiwe died 3 times before he died. I'm telling us, I don't know why. Ambassador Nat, let's just assume he's dead because I don't have a contrary opinion. You are an ambassador for Nigeria for a while, and now a fellow colleague is gone. What do you say?
Well, our heart goes to him and the family.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Now we can hear you. We'll come back to you.
I
Yes,
think
Ambassador.
he came and he saw and he conquered to some extent. At least he will have a footnote when it comes to the history of Nigeria during his times. And I think why he was able to fit into any political scene, military or civil regime. So it means he had some principles which he was standing on, and I remember recently he was really in the front line politics of what was happening in Nigeria, and especially in the southeast geopolitical zone. He used his past experience in the civil service, political scientist, as an academic professor, lectured in a few universities in the United States of America, and I think we will have needed him more between now and the 2020. But God gave him a specific number of years to sojourn here. I'm sure his soul is resting in perfect peace. And our condolences.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Can I say something to this?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, Professor Obiozor, yeah, is actually dead. It was announced by the executive governor of Imo State, Pope Uzodinma, is dead. So that is taken care of. Now, thinking about it in the person of Obiozor, he's a global man. He has got a lot of position and he did well. He's a man with integrity. He performed well, being an ambassador, holding a lot of different positions. But there's this personality, and that's him. That's who he is. Nobody can say that. You cannot catch him with any fraud or anything. But there's this particular aspect of him that many people might not be talking about, and many people might not want to talk about. And it's this that Pastor Obiozor is actually a people pleaser. I mean, probably I don't have the right word to describe this part of his personality. What I meant by he's a people pleaser, and it has actually rubbed off on him, particularly being the President General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo. If we're considering the problem that is going on in Ohanaeze Ndigbo, since 2021, he became the President General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo. What I meant by being a people pleaser is that Obiozor is someone you cannot find having problem with anyone, disagreeing with anyone. He always wants peace. But in life, they say you don't disagree to agree. Yeah, he is a global man, but as an Igbo man who has attained greater heights, has Igbos really benefited from him, from all those things. He's one man who will not come out to condemn anything evil because his name or his reputation is more important to him than whatever thing it is. Even in Ohanaeze, presently has a lot of problems, a lot of passion under him. So that's what I want to say about him.
Thank you very much. That's a very good aspect you brought out, BD. Dr. Osita, indeed, George Obiozor was for the next Igbo president, and he came out to say that Peter Obi is the next best thing that could happen to the Nigerian politics. Obiozor, while he is an establishment man, he loved the Federal Republic of Nigeria, no doubt about that. He worked with them, he worked in them. At the same time, he's very conscious of his Igbo history, his Igbo background, and was looking forward to an Igbo president. Now he may never see it happening in his lifetime. Is Dr. Sita still with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Let me bring the very sad part and tie it to what you just said. That position about Igbo presidency also harmed him because right there in his home in Imo, this man had over 54 manuscripts for his memoirs and everything else. Unknown gunmen went to his house, burnt his house down, and destroyed all the manuscripts.
Oh my word.
That gave him on the spot stress, and he died just moments after that.
Wow.
It happened to Okongo, SP Okongo. It happened to Akunyele. So these are the issues that we're dealing with in our homeland. I have my roots in the Southeast, and these are the things that are happening to us that we don't like and we're not praying for. Such a man like Akunyele, such a man like SP Okongo, such a man like Professor Obiozor, they have left us suddenly because of these factors. Nobody is saying that that they will not die. We're saying that the things underlying their deaths are just criminal, and it's not good for us. The man stood behind the idea of Igbo presidency, voiced it out, and prayed with Igbo people, prayed with his kids and kin. Say, this is our time. Let's show also that we can make things happen in this country and make it happen well. All of a sudden, the man was attacked in Imo State. They killed him before he died.
Wow.
They took him out.
Maki Milan, one thing we can say about Obiozor was he cut across. A rooted Igbo man who cut across the Yorubas and the Hausas and the Fulanis. He could get job. He could be appointed by any of these ethnic groups. He was that kind of a man, and yet a proper Igbo man.
Yes, proper Igbo man. Very good. Thank you very much, Dr. Shagun. And I want to put a little light to what Dr. Sita said. Yes, the burning of his memoir and collection of his archives, his book, added a lot to his health. And I don't know why we still have this problem repeating itself all over and over again. Yes, it happened to a lot of them. They lose things that are very vital to their life, and that hurts them a lot. So our man Obiozor was the president of he was the general president of the Ohanaeze Ndigbo worldwide. And before that, he was also a diplomat, like we've all said. So that meant he should be able to also cement together all sectors of Nigeria, all the regions. So as a diplomat, you have to be open to everybody. So he was a high commissioner to Cyprus at one time. He was also a Nigerian ambassador to Israel at one point in time. And also at one point in time, he was ambassador to the United States. So representing Nigeria in that high level, you have to be an all man, everybody's man. And also, he was also the Ogumba one of Olo, where he comes from in Imo State. Thank you.
Wow. Well, we just have to leave it like that.
Dr. Johnson.
Yes, sir.
I mean, sometimes people will have a different type of outlook in life. And then they will be termed to be something. The reason why I said he reminded me of Ojo Madekwe. Ojo Madekwe was actually the federal commissioner for minister for transportation, and then was moved down here. And I went to see him in his office, and I asked him, I say off record, sir, don't you think that a lot of people are saying that you were demoted to be brought here to Canada as a high commissioner after being the federal minister of transportation in Nigeria? He laughed. He looked at me and said, I am a servant of the people. In whatever capacity that I serve, I am content. As far as I am serving my people, I am happy. So, the likes of Obiozor, the people like, what Billy was saying, I don't like that kind of attaching such a thing to somebody. Not everybody is going to be an agitator. Not everybody is going to rise up when there are things. There are some people that have the heart of Nigeria wired in them, that they will serve. It doesn't matter, and some of those people might privately disagree with people, but publicly they are still serving. So I don't like that kind of attachment, public attachment to this man, that he is I don't know what word that was used. I wouldn't even repeat it. So the man served his nation, he served his people, and I believe that he should be given the best accolade ever, because as also the president of Ohanaeze, Ndigbo, he did a fantastic job. He was a very peaceful man. A friend of mine is a member of that. Sometimes I'm in his house when they discuss it. The man is just it was peace. And
absolutely. The Ohanaeze. Bidi,
Dr.
I'll give you the
Shagun,
floor. I'll give you the floor.
He's very, very correct. I'm not expecting him to be an agitator. Everyone can not, like you rightly say. But as a leader, do you understand? As a leader, but in this sort of world, there's this word we use as leaders, being diplomatic. Yes, he's actually a very diplomatic. Apart from being a diplomatic, he's always diplomatic in his words. But as a leader, there is time for you to call a spade a spade. That's actually the point I'm trying to say. As a leader, you should step on people's toes. But he's kind of person that he wouldn't want to step on anyone's toes for peace to reign. And in doing that, some aspect of life or your aspect of your life we suffer. And that is actually what I'm saying. I'm not expecting him to be an agitator. I'm not at all. That's actually what I'm
Biddy.
well.
I personally agree with you that we are looking at different aspects of a big man's life. Sir George is looking at this aspect. You are looking at that aspect. So we are all saying that's what's a big. That's what good. I mean, big men, like we say in Nigeria. That's what it's all about. I mean, so many sides of George. Personally, I know him, so I'm not saying something about a man I did not know. We used to meet at the NIA, Kufu Abayomi, Victoria Land, and talk about international relations until he was made the director general. Some of the people were not happy. Of course, I was a lecturer, so I didn't have a problem. And he became professor and all of that. So he's a great man, and we're going to miss him. Nigeria is going to miss great men like that. Well, we have to go from deaths on to new beginning. One of us, Obuks, we call her OBK, Obukama, a daughter of Hebrew, who married Mokoro, Mrs. Mokoro. She's going to be laughing right now. Actually, about this time, her son is getting married. And she's married one beautiful lady from the southwest. So it's south marrying southwest. I'm so excited. And Regina is her name, and the Obuk's son is Yannick. They're meeting their wedding right now, and I'm sure Biddy, you're going to represent us there because there's no flat. I would have come, but there was no flat. Yeah.
Yes, immediately after this, I will be coming. Actually, the event is slated for 10 a.m. I hope to still meet up. Immediately after I'm jump out of here, I'm jumping to that.
Okay. Please do give our love to her, and hopefully we'll see the newlywed in the coming year. Dr. Osita, South, taking one of ours in Southwest. We're going to retaliate. So what do you want to say to Obuks?
Yeah, unfortunately, I am thanking her. I am thanking her for having brought a boy like that to the world, because I have done Urobo traditions this year. Two of my younger sisters have sons that married Urobo girls. So we have gone from one tradition to the other. The beautiful thing about it is that I had a single experience. Urobo men, the man's family, would go in prayers, asking God to hold their daughters-in-law straight and good on fidelity over their son.
Wow.
That is an amazing prayer.
Sir George, what would you like to tell?
For you to go to prayers, asking God to make your son never be disappointed by your wife because of fidelity. It's a unique Urobo tradition. So, in my head now, I am going to...
Sir George, help me. Interpret what he's saying.
And I wish them well.
Interpretation of this particular... Dr. Sita, please. Can you please explain? Because there was a commissioner that was from Toronto a while ago. There was a high commissioner in Toronto. And the high commissioner is a very good friend of mine, and he's from the Middle Belt. So I was discussing something with him one time. He was laughing at me and said, "Do you know that if you come to my home, I can tell my wife to come and service you?" I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "I can actually use my wife as a cola nut for you. You know, I will tell my wife to come. And but
that is done in Canada. I know that one. What's the name? The Eskimos. The Eskimos do that in Canada. They do welcome
them.
I
didn't know that it was done in Nigeria. And
it's more of a Nigerian thing. It's more of a Nigerian. The South, the North. Sorry, the Benue people.
Yes,
I have been in a situation like that.
Yes, he told me that. He's like, "Don't worry about her. She understands." So what I need you to do is to do me a favor. But what I'm saying, Dr. Sita, I need you to explain exactly what you mean by.
Can I say something before Dr. Star explains? It's a known fact in a state like Benue State, TV people, Kwara, when you visit them and they love you, they will offer you their wives. Some offer you their beautiful daughters. And they're telling you, you know what I mean? You're not expecting me to say everything. Well, I think that is fading away. It's no longer.
I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it for the first time. The people, Sir George, is your people in Canada, the Eskimos, because the place is very cold. They now offer their own wife as to give you warmth. But they have not been able to come to Canada. Maybe I hope my wife will not hear this one. Maybe.
I love you.
But Ambassador Nat can tell us more. Ambassador Nat can tell us more. I think Ambassador Nat has more to tell us.
Ambassador Nat.
By geographical location, I identify myself with the Middle Belt. I am from the Middle Belt, and this is more of a socio-cultural identity. It's not done for just every friend that comes around or everybody that comes to the house. There must be some high level of bonding between those two men before they can extend those goodies to visitors.
So this is serious. I never knew this one. I never knew this one.
It's not just for everybody. There's also a sense of responsibility, a sense of discipline. It's not loose talk when those type of issues are discussed and the actions are take place. So that is it's a source of cementing relationships or bonding.
Wow.
That is
I'm learning some of these things for the first time.
I doubt if that is still in practice. Those things were done in the olden days.
It is still in practice.
As a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Johnson, what Ambassador Nat just said now is profound, because we need to understand it very well. We need to understand what Ambassador Nat just said. The fact that the man has bonded with his friend and shared a spouse with him does not mean that the man can do it the second time. He cannot just walk into that house and be doing it. No. There is a bond and there's a respect. There is a respect tied to it.
We've got to do a study of anthropology here, and I'm
sorry. Do you know about the Okafor's law?
We don't have that time to do anthropology and sociology. We have to go on a short break. When we return, we'll be looking at what's going on in Israel. Can Netanyahu come back? Yes, he can. We'll be looking at that. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
This world, changing your mindset.
Merry Christmas, everybody. To you, our esteemed customers, we wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. We appreciate your support throughout the year, and we are looking forward to serving you next year. Tasty Bites. Giving you a taste band, a Tasty Bites. Ciao.
Thanks for staying with us. This is News Echoes World Affairs. We look at the Prime Minister of Israel. Netanyahu has come back again. He's always coming back, but that man has sown. His brother was killed in Uganda. He became prime minister thereafter, and he lost, and now he's back. Now we understand the coalition of far right. Don't they have another person in Israel? Ambassador, now let me start this with you. Don't they have another person in Israel who could become prime minister?
Well, Benjamin, that's what they call him. That's the correct. It's not Benjamin. Well, Benjamin is the English version.
Thank you, sir.
Benjamin,
Thank you. I like corrections. Go ahead, sir.
No, I'm not correcting you. I'm just saying
No
the Israeli
Benjamin
pronunciation.
Netanyahu. Okay, sir.
Benjamin Netanyahu. Netanyahu is a family in Israel that have made undeliverable mark on the history of Israel. As Dr. Johnson said, at the Entebbe rescue mission, Entebbe rescue mission, when the Israeli plane and people were hijacked, Jonathan Netanyahu, the senior brother of Bibi. Bibi is also the same Benjamin Netanyahu, but he's also known as Bibi, B-I-B-I. Jonathan led the commando operation, and unfortunately, he lost. They lost him, but the spirit of the Benjamin Netanyahu is with them. But they rescued those who were hijacked and even the aircraft. And so Benjamin Netanyahu, he has already made his history in Israel. He's been the longest serving minister at a stretch. He clocked almost 12 years or thereabout, which is not usual in Israel. And he is a comeback kid, like Bill Clinton. He's back again with the wife Sarah. Sarah has been a pain in his back anyway during the political upheavals.
Yes, the prime ministership in Israel is a very funny one. Like Sir George explained, you are a servant. You can be the prime minister today, and you can be ordinary minister tomorrow, and the day after they can make you to just go and be a director general. It doesn't mean that you have to be going up. In Israel, you serve. Just Sir George, what do you say to Netanyahu coming back?
Well, he's a very far-right individual when it comes to the, Zionist movement. He's already swearing to expand the West Bank, which, is going to agitate the world. He doesn't care. He's a very strong conservative when it comes to issues dealing with Israel. Now, he's a very long-serving, and the man is a diplomat. With all the bad news about him, he still scaled through and came out, had 63 votes against 54 to bring his government into power out of 120. So the man is, I believe that the people trust him because he's not going to compromise in what they believe in regarding the Palestinians and everything else, that Israel belongs to them and these people are just occupying their land. So he's going to fight all the way to the very end. And that's the reason why I believe that they brought him back.
Yeah, I agree with you. The land of Israel has always been a challenging one. And if the Palestinians have a choice, and indeed all of the Arabs, they will erase them from the surface of the earth. In fact, they don't appear on their map to start with. But Dr. Osita, I can't see you. I hope you're still with us because I want to ask you a few questions. Well, in the absence of Dr. Osita, maybe something is happening in Abuja. Bidi, let's leave Netanyahu and Israel because that story will always be on for the rest of our lifetime. Bidi, the United States government.
Can I say something about a little thing about Benjamin's government?
Okay, quickly.
Yes, sir. This is the first time the Israeli parliament will be having an openly gay speaker. And that's great, yes, an openly gay man, Aman Ohana, is going to be the speaker, and he's gay. So
I was taken aback several years ago, about 10 years ago, when the gay parade in Jerusalem was bigger than that of London. And I was shocked. Jews, the direct children of Almighty God, their gay parade was a big one. I don't know if anybody wants to say something on this.
Yes, indeed. We saw that the gay community in Israel is growing very large. I think it's one of the biggest in that in the Middle East, and it's growing. The LGBT people.
The reason why it is not good for Israel is because Israel maybe 6 million plus, and Arab about 150 million, and still they are ready to eat them up. So the Israeli government have always been asking everybody, please give back to more people. We want children who will fight, children who will take economic positions. And so when you have more of gays, then you won't be making babies, will you? Well, I'm limited in knowledge in this.
There is a way they make babies now. All the artificial things. They adopt also. They come to the Nordic side of Europe. The Nordic country in Europe, Finland, Sweden, and all that part, have these plans to give babies, go through the adoption process and give babies to a couple. So we're having that happen. A lot of Europeans are going that way to a lot of European gay couples, man and man, woman and woman. They are going all the way to the Nordic side to adopt babies.
Let's just leave them with that LGBTQ, PLK, LLM, matter. Otherwise, we'll be charged for something else. Bidi, the United States government has decided to be testing all the Chinese coming from China again against COVID before they enter. Do you sense we are entering another pandemic?
Obviously, we are entering another COVID. Recently, the Govt and the World Health Organization have announced the coming of another COVID. And it's already in the pipeline. So it's what they're doing is not especially they're actually doing something based on what we should be expecting. And there's another big one coming in 2025, and they call this one, they say SEER. It's going to come, and this time around, it's not just, you and I know that COVID-19 affected more of adults and people with underlying illness. But the one that is coming now is going to affect children equally. So they know what they are doing, because, like they said, what is coming now is going to be bigger than what we have experienced in the last year.
Word. Ambassador Nat, how sufficiently are we scared again? I can't afford another COVID staying at home. I just can't.
Again, conspiracy theory. We really didn't get to know whether in Wuhan or wherever, where COVID came from. And it seems that the big farms, the pharmaceutical companies, don't want to run out of business. And and the WHO, which is a business outfit, wouldn't mind trying to convince the world again that COVID is back. I have a personal belief that COVID was not anywhere near us, and the Chinese, the tug of war on COVID between the Chinese and the USA is still going to rage on until nobody knows when it will end.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Sir George, whatever America does, whatever USA does, Canada is going to copy. Are we going to see it in your country as well? Are you going to ban?
Well, I don't know whether. Yeah, we usually we're the junior sister to America, so whatever they do.
You better agree with me. You better agree.
we are tagging along anyway because you know, we're the best allies to US. They are brothers, senior brothers there. I don't know if they're going to do that, but you know, some of the movements that is being made is political movements when it comes to China and the US. Part of the reason why I believe that they're doing that is one, the scale of what is really happening there. China went a little way to the left when it came to, you know, when they started seeing this thing, you know, spread again, the COVID spread in their country. They locked everybody down. So there was a whole lot of, you know, revolt against the government for a long time because of this, because they don't want to be locked down again. So what is happening now is that I believe that America started doing this. They call it because they're being scared. They don't want the, you know, the disease to come down to US again. But I believe it's the, you know, just a political movement because they're angry with the Chinese ways of dealing with people, you know, abuse and all those type of things. That's what I believe.
Massive Mark, Europe has not responded to USA. Britain considered it yesterday, but they said no. I would have loved to stop those Chinese from coming to Britain, because when we in the UK did not stop the Indians 2.5 years ago, they brought in all sorts of variants. Now we need to stop the Chinese in Europe. I mean, at least get them tested before they come in. But I don't know what is going on in Italy.
No, it's going on in Italy very well. Dr. Shago, Europe are responding. The Europeans are responding. We have Italy, Japan, Taiwan, Spain. France is not included now. They are all announcing mandatory tests for travelers coming from China. Also, there are some laws that you follow up when you're inside, when you're in those countries. This Europeans are giving this as not a follow-up to what America is doing, but they're also seeing the threat coming from China again.
Yes, it's a threat, and we can't afford it again.
5,000 cases a day, as the data is showing us, and the Chinese are not, like Ambassador Nat said, the Chinese have not really opened up on this whole COVID thing. How is it still springing out from that corner? Where is the source? What is behind all this? So as long as we keep hiding those facts, those things that should be known, I think we'll still be having that reoccurrence. So that's what's happening.
All right. Thank you very much. Sir George, Biddy, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say something based on what Mike said and
Okay, few seconds. Yeah.
Conspiracy theory. Yeah, it's an angle that attention should be given to, but unfortunately, it's not. You know, if you look at what happened in the past COVID, if actually the World Health Organization is actually doing what they want to do, those vaccines should be produced and given to people free, because I know states and countries will pay for it. But they did not. You know how many millions, how many people they were made billionaires through the last COVID, and another one is cooking on the pipeline. Already, the vaccine that will tackle the one that is coming is already on the pipeline. They're already producing it. Now, when we begin to ask questions, is actually a conspiracy theory.
Okay, Dr. Osita, thank you, Biddy. Dr. Osita,
okay.
is
Nigeria. My question actually is that why are we making so much? Hello, can you hear me?
Go on, we can hear you. Go on. What's your question?
Yeah, why are we making? Yeah, why are we placing so much importance to to the US angle? What about,
because it's a superpower. They have all the technology to detect if it's going to be pandemic again or not, and we need to learn from one another.
To Japan? Hello?
Yes, go on. Well, at least we're hearing.
They've expanded it to Japan and Korea. I mean, why are we very particular about US and China? Or is it because because of the media?
No. Because of technology, they're in a position to know how this thing could consume them again. They lost President Trump for that, and so they're always mindful.
Yeah, okay.
Joe Biden didn't want
fine.
to
Because
fall into that, and so
yeah,
my question to you is: Nigeria listening at all?
no, we are not, because it's not part of our game. If we're talking about Tinubu, we're talking about Tinubu and his money. We're not. We are not in this world now. Why would we bother about things that are said outside Nigeria? We are talking about Emiloko. We are here. We're outside the barriers.
Let's leave this Emiloko. Sir George, I'm interested in the weather going on. US is experiencing the worst form of a storm. They call it bomb, and the last, I mean, for several years they've not seen it. Is it affecting you in Canada as well?
Not as, yes, it did, but not in the amount of snow that we received. We had a lot of, it was extremely cold, more, worse than what we have ever experienced in a long time. And not also the windshield factor was, it was too much. It tore down almost everything, tore down trees, and it was consistently so. But now our weather is a little better.
The last time we looked at the news, they said 61 people have died. So it's not funny at all. Nat, you experienced something like that in London 3 weeks ago, didn't you?
Ambassador Nat.
It looks like Ambassador Nat, we can't get him. Well, we just have to move on. And Dr. Sita, you have lived in America, United States for a long time, and the gun culture is still on. We understand that it is rarer to have a day without mass shooting than having the ones with. So what is going on? The National Rifle Union will tell you that guns don't kill. People use guns to kill. And now, within 1 month, we understand that nearly 1,000 have been killed. In fact, there is now a new definition of mass shooting where 4 or more people are killed or affected. Dr. Sita, tell us more.
The truth, I've always stood by this about the US and guns. It will be difficult to extricate guns from the average American behavior. Very difficult. One of the guys who touted guns so badly in America, Ronald Reagan, was a cowboy like John Wayne, and he was made president. He was made president. That shows you how the how the thoughts are. And believe me, even before Trump was elected, it was shown on the streets that guns were the answer, because they all went to the street. This thing we're doing protests, they are carrying placards. Their placards are guns and their cartridges. So what they know as response to issues is fight back. Whether they're fighting back from what they started or from what is new. The American culture, politicians will lose elections because of gun. The American culture is a gun culture. Yes, and then look at this. This is really very funny. Do you know that when spouses are at loggerheads, they keep guns?
Whoa!
They keep guns. Dr. Johnson, they keep guns. The truth is that the wife will be watching the man to find out what could happen, and then the man will be watching the wife, what could happen. Nigerians have learned it. A Nigerian shot the wife.
Yes, Nigerians have joined them as well. Sir George, you are the closest to.
Yes, went to where the wife keeps the gun, because he knew where the mother. Yes, I picked up the gun and pursued his father. The man ran. Guns in homes, guns in families. So it is not just that.
I am mindful of the time, and I just want us to see whether this thing can stop. Sir George, you think this can be stopped?
It's practically impossible to stop guns in the US, because there are 2 reasons. There are certain areas you will go to, and these things are because of, it's not only because of, the cowboy attitude or hunting or whatever the case might be. You know, they just don't want guns in the hands of certain people, but they feel like it's their birthright for the white folks to keep guns because they believe that there will be a day when there will be a revolt in the US and they want to be able to protect themselves. They really believe that. And therefore, so the guns now sifting into the wrong hands and these mental, you know, people that are just not, you know, don't know how to deal with depression, they don't know how to deal with pressure. The only thing is to lash out and then go start killing a lot of people. And what really influenced this a whole lot with this particular current generation were those video games they used to play.
That's right. That's right.
That was
I just want others to contribute. Ambassador Nat, there's no answer to this, is there?
Well, there is an answer, but you may not get absolute solutions or comprehensive and complete solutions because the NRA is a very powerful.
NRA, National Rifle Association, for our viewers. Go on.
Yeah, it's a very powerful group in the USA, and as Dr. Sita said, politicians could lose elections because of this issue of ownership of guns, because it's also in the economy. I'm sure the gun industry is booming in the US, and they wouldn't like to lose such a lucrative business. So that's
thank you, Ambassador. You will never want to relocate to America because
of the Republicans and the Democrats.
Bidi.
Yeah.
Nigerians still want to relocate to the US with all the gun culture. Why?
Nigerians will go anywhere. As long as they're living the shores of this country. So gun in America is not an issue for a Nigerian who wants to relocate. You have to look at it, gun in America is their culture. And the gun industry in America is a very lucrative one. So the people in charge of that wouldn't want to lose any. So I don't see American government changing that anytime soon. For Nigerians, they will go even in the moon as long as they're in the shores of Nigeria.
Mark in Milan, America still shooting. I hope they don't shoot in Italy.
Well, we don't have Europe doesn't have much of this gun issue, but it's I think it's coming gradually in Europe. It's creeping in.
It's crept into Canada so much now that there are killings taking place.
What we have rather in Europe, UK included, is knives. Yes, knives and
UK is knife. We have not yet gone into that digital shooting.
There's something we need to know about the gun culture in America. The NRA, like you said, is one of the strongest pro-gun political lobbying group in the House. So they put a lot of money down to lobby that the gun thing must continue.
Okay.
So,
we will just ask, we will be praying for the USA, Canada, and all those countries where mass shooting has become a culture. We have someone viewing us from Lagos, Nigeria, and she has written in, she said, using another man's wife as bond and to entertain is real in Nigeria. Had the experience during my NYSC. So I never knew that one. I didn't know Nigerians do that. It's the Eskimos in Canada that ladies and gentlemen, my humble position is Happy New Year. Bidi, do you want to wish our viewers Happy New Year in the last 9 seconds of the program?
Schengen Media Group wishes all our esteemed viewers, our friends, our well-wishers, our family members all over the world, Happy New Year. And we're telling you that as we enter into this 2023, like Pele said, according to Schengen Media, that his talent was 50% and he worked 85%. So we're wishing everyone who wants things differently, who wants a change, to work hard as we enter this 2023. that you get a better life in 2023. We wish you all the best. We wish you happy new year.
Thank you very much. That's how far we can go today. It's been Schengen News Media, and we'll be back on Wednesday, 2023. I'm so glad you're watching. God bless you all.
Goodbye, everyone. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everyone.